Alright, and welcome to the SPL Round Up. This, very simply, 6 games from the Scottish Premiership are the last week of fixtures. Very simply, bottom 6, top 6 to go, cause it's a split right now. Here's my opinions on the game. First game, Motherwell, Kilmarnock at Fir Park. The score was 2-0. Motherwell. I would have thought Kilmarnock would have maybe it would be another way round. I think the way that they played in the last game against Motherwell, Kelly did, you would have thought that they would have went for a bit more, but you could tell by the first half. Game was fairly even. Motherwell had a few more, I would think, guilt-tripped chances, but ultimately it was about half time. You'd analyse, I think, not really any team done much to get a goal. Motherwell, I think, slightly edged it, obviously, but 0-0 was the score at half time. But I think within a 5-minute period afterwards, it was a very nice finish from Devante Cole. Ultimately, I think it was a quick counter for Motherwell, slipped the ball behind Cole, 1 or 2 touches, finished into the far right corner, just a bit of a bend, and it was a good finish from Devante Cole. Also, that was to put Motherwell 1-0 up at the time. I think the way that the game, after Motherwell went 1-0 up, after Kilmarnock brought on Chris Burke, they chose the game, also allowed them to be more dynamic out wide. You see the game changed as soon as Burke came on, with a constant chance after chance. Motherwell did have to ride their luck. Also, they were able to, adding a late goal on at the end through Stephen O'Donnell, through Devante Cole again. Ball through thrown, Devante spun the defender, played it across, with Stephen O'Donnell, simple, one tap, into the corner, seeing the game off, which, before the end of fixtures, Kilmarnock with a win would have put them, I think, within a point of guaranteeing safety. But ultimately, this result puts Kilmarnock 11th, double 1 place, and Motherwell up to 7th. I think Motherwell deserve the 3 points, obviously. I think the only real spell Kilmarnock got was, as I said, when Chris Burke came on. But as Tommy Wright's Kilmarnock has been since he was appointed, not really adventurous going forward, not really putting pressure on teams. The second game for this episode, obviously, of 6, was Hibs versus St Johnstone at Easter Road. Very simply, it was St Johnstone 1, Hibernian 0. For the goal for St Johnstone, it was a very poor defensive clearance from Ryan Porteous, which ultimately gave Glenn Middleton a very simple chance at. Ultimately, I think, with the way you've seen Hibs play, it was a very poor performance from Jack Ross's side. I think the way you've seen Hibs play this season, I think they've been, in the previous kind of month or two at Easter Road, being at home, you think they'd play a lot better than they have been, but they've been defeated to the, well, especially since the turn of the year. Almost every team's going to Easter Road and picking up something. Motherwell, Rangers obviously, Ross County, now St Johnstone, other teams are following suit, and it's a weird one. St Johnstone, I think about 20 minutes later, were denied probably a blatant penalty, I would say. I think probably was just a penalty, so obviously should have had a chance to make it 2-0 just before the half, but they went in 1-0 up, which is still a good performance. But the second half, not really any team had much to do. Goalkeepers had a very quiet evening. Ultimately, it was a very good display from St Johnstone to go away from home. The Perth side, a good display, good defensively, get a well-deserved 3 points, keeping them, well, right now 6, but on goal difference, trying to fight for, 5th, just above Livingston. Will they get it? I think they will. I think this game, obviously, Hibs basically with the result for Aberdeen it meant that Hibs failed to kind of secure third place or be within a point of doing so. Third game of the episode is Dundee United versus Ross County. It was Ross County 2, Dundee United 0. Now you'd have thought that Dundee United would have scalped Ross County, but when you look at the lineups, without Benjamin Seagrass, multiple others in the defence midfield, you can tell it's going to be a Ross County win. Ultimately, for Ross County's opener, it was a very good ball chipped in from Blair Spittle, which meant the head of Jordan White, which ever since he left Motherwell in the January window, he's been scoring goals, keeping Ross County ultimately within a hope of staying up this season. I think the way that County played, they've started to play, I think, Kilmarnock and Hamilton Accies. They'll start to play Accies and Motherwell, is my apologies, to stay up. But for County's second goal, the Alex Iacovite, it was a very good flick on from a corner, just simply flicked on by Jason Naismith, I think it was. Iacovite just came in, boom, simple tap and back post. Ultimately, from start to finish, I think Ross County outplayed Dundee United, thought they deserved the 3 points, and ultimately they move on to Wednesday, where after they beat Hamilton Accies and get a win, then they'll be all but safe in the Premiership for this season. And if Kilmarnock win, I hope to somehow Accies are confirmed relegated, then between those two and the playoffs. Now, the fourth game is Livingston versus Aberdeen. The score is on screen right now. It was ultimately Aberdeen 2, Livingston 1. Now, the game in the first half fell even, not many chances getting created. It was 0-0 at half time, which, with the chances given, it was fair. I think just after the half, you've seen Aberdeen pick the pace up a wee bit, with a rebound from Callum Hendry putting them 1-0 up, I think 7 minutes after the restart. I think once Aberdeen got the goal, they were kind of picked their pace up and ultimately got more into it. They did get a bit lucky with the goal, ball was whipped in, headed onto the crossbar, but then Hendry was there for the rebounds, right place, right time, simple goal. It was then, I think, 20 minutes later, through Ryan Hedges, through a fairly quick counter, ball to Channel 4, Florian Kamberi, which was then played across the box for a first time finish from Ryan Hedges, which, fairly good finish I'd say. I think, after Aberdeen went 2-0 up, Livy played a wee bit, getting one back through J. Emmanuel Thomas, after Aberdeen failed to clear from a corner, which was then crossed back in, back post, Emmanuel Thomas one touch, straight across to put one back for the home side, but ultimately it wasn't enough, which see Livy, I think, stay 6th place or drop to 6. And also it means that Aberdeen's hopes for third is still going to happen, but we're going to wait and see how Aberdeen play in the last 2 games to see will they clutch that third position. The 5th game is St Mirren versus Accies. The score was 2-1 to Hamilton. For the first goal for Accies, it was a scramble in the box through Ross Callaghan, get a simple boot onto it with a bit of luck to put Accies 1-0 up, which I think at the time was deserved from Accies. They started stronger, dictating the play, away to some outside that just dropped through the top 6, off the back of a 1-0 defeat to Motherwell the week prior, or 2 weeks before, as was the Scottish Cup. I think the way that St Mirren ultimately tried to get back into the game, it wasn't enough. Accies, just after the second half started, got a bit of luck with Bruce Anderson's strike across goal. It was fairly, obviously fortunate, I think ultimately, you can tell he's obviously had a shot at goal, scuffed it, and then David Moyle, right place, right time. Always seemed like he didn't attempt it just to try and get a flick on or a touch, but it was enough to put Aki's 2-0 up with I think 20 minutes left roughly. With then St Mirren bringing on the likes of Jamie McGrath, which changed the game a wee bit, but also wasn't enough. McGrath did get a decent strike with a fairly well walked goal from a throw-in. Fairly well walked from St Mirren, but I think ultimately they had to start that sooner. Don't know why McGrath was on the bench. Thanks to that, and I think Ilkay Dermis was also on the bench, so bit of a weird one that. I think when you watch the game back, Aki's was deserving of the 3 points, which is surprising. With that result, obviously does keep Hamilton within a chance of staying in the league with a crucial game against Ross County, which if they fail to pick up at least a point, they will be relegated if Kilmarnock beat St Mirren at home. But if St Mirren beat Kilmarnock at home and then Aki's lose to Ross County, they cannot avoid the playoffs at the very most. They will then have to beat Kilmarnock at home on the last day to stay up, only scrapping the playoffs. Now, the last game you should be waiting for, Rangers and Celtic. It was 4-1 Rangers at Ibrox. Very simply, Celtic started well, couldn't get a goal, as they'd been doing in the old firms, starting off strong, featuring out afterwards. It was Rangers who struck first, going 1-0 up through a goal through Kamal Roof. Bit of luck, I think it was. But it was striker's instinct ultimately. Fairly decent goal, I would say, through Kamal Roof. But unfortunately, they couldn't hang on for long. Celtic did subsequently go down to 10 men during the move, with Callum McGregor having his second yellow card and sent to the showers for an early bath. They did respond fairly instantly through Odsonne Edward for a quick one each. Ultimately, it was again, a few minutes later, Celtic failed to clear from a corner, which then saw Alfredo Morelos score his second Old Firm goal against Celtic and back-to-back goals against the Paradise side, or Parkhead's team. Ultimately it was 2-1 at half time. It was fairly good, I think, for Rangers at half time. Going in, going strong, with a bit of a poor start, but ultimately they got what they were needing. Not long after half time, it was a great ball in from Borna Barisic for a good header into Kamal Roof. Roof just up, push, 3-1. Ultimately that kind of, from there, killed Celtic's chances of getting back into the game off. I think after that, obviously messed up defensively. Celtic, they weren't as strong afterwards. Obviously scoring 3 goals, you're not going to be good defensively. But right towards the end, when they were quite clearly dying off, Jimmy Defoe came on, scored a goal, made it 4-1, and done 3 very deserved points for Rangers on Derby Day. I think Rangers deserve the 3 points for, I think, the first time in 21 years have been undefeated against Celtic in the season, which is mental. But with that, I think that's enough time for the first episode of the SPL Round Up. I'll see how this goes. Obviously we've got 2 more weeks left of the of this league season. This video will be going out Monday the 10th of May, which then the second episode will go out on the following Friday, I think the 15th of May, it'll be roughly. Obviously with the games on just happening a couple of days before, on the 12th of May, Wednesday, so it'll be the 14th, the second episode will go live. It'll be a quick edit, quick turnaround, so let's see how that goes. But with that, if you haven't already, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave in the comments with your video suggestions. But with that, I'll catch you in the next one, and goodbye. Peace.